Hi, everyone. So I am going to show you the PowerPoint for my case study 3. And my name is Ashley Colazzo. So the client that I will be discussing is a male. He is 7 years old. He was diagnosed with both autism spectrum disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. His behavior of concern that we'll be discussing is his inability to tact various items. So first, I'm going to give you a definition of what tacting is. According to Cooper, the tact relation is a type of verbal behavior in which the form of a response is under the functional control of a nonverbal discriminative stimulus and a history of conditioned reinforcement. And I also provided various examples as well. So one example is if a child sees a dog, let's say he's walking outside, he'll say dog. Or if a child hears a song playing, he'll say music. Or if he sees another peer smiling and he points to the peer and says happy while he's pointing to the peer, those are all different examples of tacting. So the stimulus class that I'll be focusing on for the PowerPoint are animals, even though I do teach him various stimulus classes. We don't just focus on animals, but just for this PowerPoint, we'll just talk about the animals. So we teach him tacting using various teaching procedures. One of them is called matching to sample. And this is when 3 varied cards are set out in front of the child at a table. The child is given a picture in which he's supposed to match to the appropriate picture in the array of 3. So for example, we'll have him sit at the table during DTT. We'll set out 3 cards, and depending on the child, it can be a different number of cards. You could have an array of 8 cards, an array of 2 cards. But for him, as of right now, we're just doing 3. And then eventually we'll build up to more. But I'll lay out a picture of, let's say, a dog, a picture of a house, and a picture of a lollipop. And I'll hand him a picture of a dog. And we do both identical and non-identical matching with him. So sometimes we'll give him an identical picture of the dog to match the picture in the array. And then sometimes we'll give him a picture of like a different kind of dog, like a different breed than what is shown in the array, and see if he can match it, whether it's identical or non-identical. And then we also use the echoic teaching procedure, which is where you show the picture of an animal to the child, or a picture of whatever it is that you're teaching them, and you tell them what it is. So let's say we're teaching him what a sheep is. I will hold up a picture of a sheep and I'll tell him, this is sheep. And then eventually we'll first start with most to least prompting. So most prompting, I'll just tell him what it is. And then eventually we'll fade to the least prompting. So I'll just hold up the card, see if he can independently tact it without me telling him what it is. And then we also have transitivity, which is another teaching procedure that we use. So the formula for transitivity is A equals B, B equals C, therefore A equals C. That's kind of like the whole concept of that. This is when the child is taught that the picture of his own dog can be matched to a picture we have in his DTT materials. He is also taught that a 3D object, such as like a dog figurine, can be matched to the picture of the dog. Therefore, the dog figurine can also be matched to the picture of his dog. So to explain that in simpler terms, let's say I have 3 different pictures in front of him at the table, a picture of a dog, a picture of a car, and a picture of a doll. I'll hand him like a little dog toy. And we do this with either dog, like 3D objects or 2D objects. Like we'll do another picture of a dog, but sometimes we'll do like a little 3D object, such as like a little dog toy, and we'll tell him match and see if he can match the 3D object to the picture. And then we also hand him a picture of his own dog that he has and see if he can match the picture of his dog to the picture of like some random dog that we have in the array. So yeah, those are the teaching procedures that we use. And that is the reference that I used. And that was my presentation.